You are looking at a book titled Innovative Youth Incubator Awards of 2018. It contains an anthology of case histories. It is about innovative ways of incubating the youth. In March 2018, I, Professor Henry Bwisa, went to Washington to present my method of teaching entrepreneurship. And I received an award. And as you'll see inside the book, my case history is the first in publication, and therefore indicating that I won that first award. This is the book. Let me flip through the pages of the book. You can see this is the preface, the Innovative Youth Incubator Awards. You can see the content, and as you can see, Professor Henry Bwisa's work is the first, and it all goes on to tell you that my presentation won that first award. It was about the Learn as You Earn initiative. My method of teaching entrepreneurship is geared towards assisting the students to start their own businesses while they're still on campus, and hence the title Learn as You Earn. Let me flip through the book. That is the head of the Churching team and the editor, a renowned global scholar in entrepreneurship. The preface is written by a team of great entrepreneurship scholars, internationally renowned. My chapter is the first in the book, the Learn as You Earn, or the LAYE initiative. If you can read the abstract, it says, this case history explains a Learn as You Earn LAYE initiative, which Professor Henry Bwisa of JKU Art in Kenya uses to incubate business ideas of undergraduate students to maturity and reality. Bwisa's LAYE program starts on a very fundamental level, with students forming groups and employing the scamper technique to come up with a concept they think can be explored in their groups. And with organized membership, the students develop the idea, making it stronger and viable. Ultimately, the idea may be turned into a product, assuming that funding can be secured and that the idea is commercially viable. Even when funding has not been secured, some students have gone ahead and started their own businesses while still on campus. This, in its own small way, is contributing towards fighting the rampant unemployment problem among the youth. So the book, my chapter has an introduction. It goes on with the introduction. The second part is the mandate of the LAIE initiative. I'm talking about the mandate of the LAIE initiative, which is basically to assist students generate viable business ideas and implement them. I'm talking about the application of the LAIE initiatives in the third part. It goes on particularly to talk of my method. I'll call it my coveted method of generating business idea, the scamper technique. You can see the S, the C, the A, the M, the P, and E, and the R. Here, I have elaborated on the scamper method, how students use it to generate business ideas. I'm talking about student motivation. Well, students are motivated. I always tell them that nobody becomes a millionaire working for another. Therefore, let them not look for for employment when they graduate. Let them look for self-employment. Even those who look for employment and get wage employment, I encourage them that at one time you will retire, and you should retire into your own business. So whether you are going for wage employment or self-employment, my encouragement is that your own business will make you a lot better than being employed. In the fifth section of my work, I'm looking at the criteria used to screen applicants. In this case, all my applicants are my students, so there is no criteria. Everybody who joins my class goes through that same method. In chapter 6, on section 6, I'm looking at the strategies that encourage inclusion of diverse candidates. What I'm saying here is that every student in my class qualifies, whether you are differently abled, whether you are lady, it is all inclusive. Number 7, I'm talking about the infrastructure, the support provided by the institution. I must say that at the moment, there is minimal support from my own institution, from my university, Jomo Kenyatta University of Agriculture and Technology. I have, for example, over a long time, applied and justified why we should have a business incubator on campus, but this has not come to be. However, I have been assisted. For example, my going to present this competition in Washington was supported by the university. So there are things we are doing, and there are things that we could do even more. In chapter 6, section 8, I'm talking of the links to other entrepreneurship activities within the institution. In my case, Jomo Kenyatta University, we have an office called Industrial Liaison Office. This is an office that vets and talks about the patenting of innovations. I'm happy to say that this office assists to vet innovation from my students, and so far, up to 50 innovations have been vetted positive for patenting. However, the students have a problem patenting because of the cost of patenting. So their innovations are lying on the shelves gathering dust. But we are trying to see whether we can get patenting for them. So the chapter, my chapter goes on. I have here some appendices. Here you can see, I'm telling Professor Bwisa, the man in the hat. We are together with Pennsylvania University lecturers and students. Here they are. We had a joint program. I developed a curriculum, an outline of entrepreneurship, and we joined. Pennsylvania University in the USA was teaching their students in their own campus. I was teaching mine, but we had a common project. And then later, as you can see, Professor Imbuga there with me and the Pennsylvania students and professors, we came with this idea and we made a joint project. And the students you can see now down here, these are the Pennsylvania students. They are now in Kenya. We're working on small projects, making good gadgets like the ones you see here out of electronic waste. Old computers, and look at what the old computers can produce. Earrings, bangles, and all this. You can see this is actually a clock. This is a clock. A clock made out of the motherboard of a computer. And these are the projects that we produce. And my main philosophy of teaching, you can see it here. My main philosophy of teaching, for those in education, you can recognize the pyramid. This is Bloom's taxonomy, cognitive, affective, and psychomotor. And you know what they mean? I hear and I forget at the top, the cognitive. That is what we mainly use in the classroom. When you talk to people, when you talk just a lecture, yes, they will hear, but they are likely to forget very fast. The second level is the affective, which, as Confucius said, I see and I remember. When you talk to people and you show them what you are talking about, they will remember a little more. It will become affective to them. So the cognitive, which is mainly the thinking, mainly in the head, is reinforced by seeing and watching. But ultimately, the psychomotor, the actual doing, I do and I understand. That means actually doing it with your own hands, producing something, and that is what I actually use for my examinations. I do not dwell on the cognitive up there, where people can remember, people can narrate, people can recite. Yes, you can recite, you can remember, but if you cannot do it, you will not understand it. So this is the philosophy that I use in my teaching. And over here, you can see like the distribution of my time in class. You can see about 27% of my time of the semester is in class. I hear and I forget. This is passive teaching, mainly addressing the cognitive domain. When a lecturer comes and makes lectures, makes notes, people copy, students copy and go away, and that is it. I don't end there. That I only take 27% of my time in classroom. 47% is what I call now I see and I remember. This is now project based on reality or real world problems. Students make groups, they identify a real problem in the environment, and they spend 47% looking at it, studying it. That means active learning. And then they construct solutions for those projects. And therefore, 20% of the time they come back to present those projects in front of a panel, peer review. And when they have presented, they qualify by probably um, being more innovative. In other words, they use the feedback from their peers and the panelists to go back and improve it. And therefore, that is the last 6% of the time they work on improving it. For those who can apply for patents, they put it into a patentable form. And therefore, that is how I distribute my time. It is not in the class all 100%, like the Commission of University of Education talks of contact hours. My contact hours are not necessarily in class all the time. I introduce them to the concept of technology, innovation, entrepreneurship, whichever subject I'm teaching. Then they go out and gather information about it and do it practically. I have a number of, if you see those YouTube links, I have a number of feedback that I've gotten from my students. If you visit any of those links, you will get what there is some of the results of my teaching. For example, in the first one, students are giving their testimonials. In the second one, students narrate how they used the Scamper method and so on and so forth. You'll get some actually showing you what they are doing and their businesses that they are doing. This is the method, the initiative that gave me the first prize, the award, international award for Innovative Youth Incubator Awards in the year 2018. You can Google this Innovative Youth Incubator Awards 2018, and you can buy this book, which has got 5 other cases from different countries: South Africa, there's somebody from South Africa, somebody from England. You can see them here. The winners were 6, and indeed, it was an experience, and I'm happy to say that my method of teaching entrepreneurship is internationally recognized and I've been awarded this. I hope that this can act as a starting point for all my colleagues also teaching entrepreneurship to adopt it. That way, we might make a difference. Otherwise, as it is now, we teach our entrepreneurship students theory. They go out there, they cannot start a business, they start looking for wage employment, and yet the objective of entrepreneurship is to make students be employers and not employees. I hope this can assist. You can indeed reach me, Google Professor Bwisa. You'll get my contacts, and we can probably advance this together. Thank you.